Hey, David R. Becker here with BeckerArt, and today's newsletter is about who inspires you and how do you get inspired. I usually get inspired by masters. I always tend to look at books and look at paintings, and there's something about a painting or in a book, like these ones laying right here, that just really inspire me to, paint and paint and paint, right? And I think it's good for you too, as a student. When you're taking workshops, you kind of take the workshop because you like a certain teacher, right? And you like their work. And that's what's so great about having books available to us artists. And I have a huge library, and I just want to go over some of the artists that had inspired me through the years, and actually who's inspiring me right now. And so I'm just going to go right down this book. And yeah, like I said, I have a library of hundreds of books, and I just went through some of the some of my shelf, and I went through and looked at some of the people that I almost kind of forgot about that really inspired me when I was in school. And again, there's so many good artists out there. Those masters who are passed away, and even some of those contemporary artists who passed away, and then the ones that are living ones. And so, any artist that has any ever done a painting can inspire you to do great work. And a lot of these artists, I copied their work, and I would just go in and just look into one of the books. And here, the top one here is Richard Schmid. Richard Schmid, when I was going to American Academy, was like the artist that we were following, and we just loved his work. And I was doing oils at the time too, but then I switched over to watercolor. But I mean, look at this work. I mean, I would just go through and just look at all the beautiful work that he had done, and mostly portraits and landscapes and stuff, and that's all really cool. And like I just took that workshop from Don Andrews, another person who also inspired me. And it's just been like weeks and weeks of taking workshops and going to AWS and seeing all of these beautiful paintings that has really inspired me to try and do some more paintings for myself. And so I want to inspire you guys also to do and look into painters that you love and have them inspire you. And of course, I'm going to show you here in a second. So this is my mentor, Irving Shapiro. Irving Shapiro was my mentor. I had him for, I think, 4 years as a watercolor. Well, actually 3 years as a watercolor instructor. And loved working with him. And he actually gave me his classes after he had gotten sick. And but the guy gave me so much in his life. But this book is like a treasure to me because it's just everything I learned in watercolor for those 3 years is in this book. And every time once in a while I bring it out and I look at the photos and I look at the paintings, and it just actually I think I even have this painting or something close to that. Actually, that's the one, I think. I have to look. So here, but just all these beautiful paintings. And when you look at it, and even this is an instruction booklet, so you can actually copy along. You can go along with it and just, look at something. Oh, there's my painting in this book. That was my painting when I got this book. So it inspires when I look at my own paintings, right? No. But again, look at people's work that you really love. And this used to be one of my favorite artists, Sir William Russell Flint. He did, I saw some paintings at the Art Institute, and if you look, he did usually women on the beach. He was a tinter. He did like washes, really light washes and layered. Well, I'm thinking of the word right now, but can't think of the word. But anyways, unbelievable artist. And I would go to the Art Institute every time for lunch when I was at American Academy, and a friend of mine and I would go over to the Art Institute, Princeton Drawings Room, and we would look at all the Sargents and the Homers that they had, watercolors, and it just was so inspiring. And when you see a piece of work that you really love, what you want to do is right away go and paint, right? Because you just want to try something like that, and just take it from your book, just take it right out of the book and just copy it. I mean, I've got a feeling that these artists had done that too at the time, at certain times when they looked at other artists when they were first starting out. And Group A is an oil painter, but his work, I love boat scenes, and he was the one that another one of my mentors, Max Ramst, had loved this guy, and he painted just like him. He had the Anderson easel and everything. And I actually saw in Vermont, his daughter still has a gallery in a barn there for groupie stuff, and it was like in the middle of the Green Mountains in Vermont, and he has a gallery there. It was so neat to see all his earlier work and just beautiful, beautiful work. And I a lot of times looked at all these boat pictures. I love boat pictures, and I just would copy these, and just it gives you an idea of how they compose pictures. So another one, Group A, and I'm going to be putting all these names of everybody that I have always liked. I'm going to put them in the descriptions of this video. I'll put a link there too, so you can get it on Amazon. But all the people who really influenced my work, and Bert Silverman was another person that when I was in school, he was basically, him and Don Andrews were the only people that I knew that were doing watercolor, figurative watercolors, and his work was just astonishing to me. It was just, back then they didn't have any color plates in their books, but you know, this is some of this is in oil and some is in watercolor and pastel. So he did a little bit of everything, which is really cool, because then it even has step by step. And so see, like step by step and how he did, and he used the Bristol board and he rubbed out a lot and put back in. But it's just so interesting to look at every one of these pages, and again, inspiring. And that's one thing you want to do, is inspire yourself, and also subject matter. Like sometimes you see the subject matter that they paint, and it's like, boy, I really love that subject matter, and so I want to try some of that. And so it gives you a chance to try some of what they had done in their painting, and then go out and look for that subject matter in real life. And this is the Americans in Venice, and this was like Sargent, and all kinds of American artists, James Abbott, McNeil Whistler. You know, we have all, here's Sargent's, Robert Frederick. So all these people, I mean, look at this Sargent. I mean, that's not amazing. It's so neat to see different ways of painting by different artists, and these are all masters at one time or another. John Pike, oh my God, this is like, when I think about how much I've done with this book, and he has 2 books out, and man, I think I may have painted every one of these paintings in here. There's so many things like this one I've done, actually done a couple times. But it showed me a lot how to do composition, and you know, after you learn how to draw, composing, and again, they have step-by-steps in these books, and so that makes it really nice. And then of course it would have been great to be able to go to these people's workshop. At the time I didn't. I wasn't going to many workshops, and the first workshop I went to that was a famous guy that I really loved and who became my mentor was Robert Wade. And Robert Wade, he was doing a workshop in Port Clyde, Maine, right where Christina's World was, and so then Andrew Wyeth was a big influence on me. Boy, I just read the book, and I'm just right now, actually it's kind of funny that I brought this up, is because right now I'm reading a book, and I wish I remember what the title was, something about the real world, and it's a book about Christina, and telling it through Christina's words, and she's talking about how she met Betsy and Andrew Wyeth, and it's a book on tape I'm going to be watching or listening to on the way to Pace this year. But super influenced. And if you ever get to Maine, in Rockland, Maine, there's a museum, and also Christina's World is not too far from there. That's where this is, the actual building. You could actually see that building, walk through it, see the garage and back. And it doesn't look like anything like this, just to let you know. It's very wooded here and in the front, and this is he made up, and it's very interesting, her story too, Christina's World, and also a couple other books. And so books are really great to get you inspired. So it's one thing I say is that to my students is, you know, get books. Even you don't even need to get books nowadays. You can get books on tape, or but these books are great because they have the paintings in them. And so even if you go to a library and just check them out, I'm sure they have some of these books in the library, and check them out just to get yourself inspired, and actually copy the works from in there. Now don't tell people that their own style or whatever, or change things around and make it your own, but just copy the work the way it is, and just learn how to draw that way, see what kind of colors they used. And so it's really neat to be inspired by other artists. So this was one of the probably one of the biggest inspirations was Andrew Wyeth. I mean, I really loved his work, and it was really inspiring to me to always paint like him. And though you always go on to another artist, because you grow as an artist yourself, and each time you look at another artist. And so right now I just saw an artist on the internet. His name is Simon, and he also is in my newsletter this week. Simon Passini, and oil painter, I love his subject matter. I love how he paints, and it's very inspiring. I just couldn't wait after I got back from my 2 workshops last week to just start painting again and see if I couldn't do something like that, or just I'm going to try to maybe copy one of or two of his works just to see how he thinks, like what he looks at and what he paints, his subject matter, and how he lights it, and all those kind of things is really helpful in progressing as an artist. So get yourself a lot of books or rent them from the take them out from the library and just get inspired. And so this week I was inspired to do this week's paint along on Thursday, which will be a cart, like a food cart. Andrew Wyatt, not Andrew Wyatt, Don Andrews is the workshop I took, and he inspired me to put people into the paintings. And then now this Simon Passini also does nothing but people in his paintings, and I just really, really would like to do more of that. And so that's what I'm going to be doing this week on Thursday night on our paint along. And so we'll see you on Thursday and get inspired. All right, we'll see you later. Bye bye.